Good morning. This is Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Thursday. Today's the 21st, a week away from Thanksgiving. So I was talking to a buddy last night on the phone who's a trader at a Wall Street firm and a big Wall Street firm. And he said to me, did you see that article, David Einhorn, who's a billionaire hedge fund manager, super smart, successful hedge fund manager, one of these guys who's worth billions and billions of dollars. He said this is the most expensive market that he has seen in decades. And obviously that tracks with what Warren Buffett has been doing in freezing all buybacks, or Jamie Dimon in freezing all buybacks. And basically Warren Buffett saying that whenever the market is at 200% of GDP, he said you're, quote, playing with fire, which is the situation we find ourselves in now. This is a playing with fire stock market, without a doubt. There's animal spirits going on. It's like being at a party and everybody's a little bit too drunk. And what I try to do here in sharing my experience here is just not have you get as drunk as everybody else, because it doesn't matter who the president is. If you lose half your money, you're the one who's going to have to work at the local supermarket. You're the one who's not going to be able to afford to go on vacation. It is on you. It is on me to manage our resources, to be careful, not to believe the hype, to look at historical precedents and facts and understand that we have the power based upon an analysis of objective facts. Over the years, we have the power and experience to actually look at things and make our own determination. So we could say to ourselves, heck, you know what? This is a bull market, no doubt about it. A lot of cheap money flying around. We could also say this is one of the most expensive markets in decades. We could say the market looks like it wants to go higher, but we can also say at the same time, we are playing with fire. So we better be very careful. We better pick our spots. We better not get crazy drunk behind the wheel of our own retirement accounts and drive them right into a wall. Because again, it doesn't matter who you voted for. No president's going to help you not work at the grocery store if you lose half your retirement. So we've got to be stewards of our retirement. That means that sometimes we're not going to get the biggest wins. But again, rule number one, follow the doctor's credo. Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, don't forget rule number one. And one of the things that my friend said to me last night that I really want to talk to you about, he said, look, the Great Depression started with a market crash. And I thought to myself, gosh, he's really wrong about that. The Great Depression did not start with a market crash. Think about what happened before the Great Depression. A lot of companies were drowning in debt after World War I. That was the kindling that lit the fire. Debt is always the kindling. You always want to be careful of debt. It's like heroin for investors. When you see guys blow up, it's usually because they've taken too much debt. But just as the debt was really starting to hit, the United States restricted monetary policy with gold, but then the real killer was they slapped tariffs on imported goods. You remember those Smoot-Hawley tariffs? That got other countries to react by doing the same, which tariffs act like a tax on millions and millions of households. And just to give you an example, Trump has talked about slapping 60% tariffs across the board on everything from China. Just to give an example, that would make an iPhone cost an extra $260, $270, just those kinds of tariffs. Even a 20% tariff, which he said was the minimum that he would go in one of his things, is a $50 expense added to the iPhone. So basically, during that time, a lot of parallels. During that time, countries were choked on debt. New administration came in. They started slapping tariffs on imports. Other countries reacted by slapping their own tariffs. Trade nosedived. And all of a sudden, profits started to go down because consumers weren't spending as much. And that's what caused the stock market, the great crash in 1929. There are a lot of parallels. So remember your history. Don't let misunderstanding or misinformation color your history. By the time the market crashed in 29, the U.S. was already teetering. Okay? We are leaving the phase, the post-World War II phase of international liberalism. I mean in the capital L sense of the word liberalism, not in the woke child mob nonsense. Trade. Liberalism is trade. Free trade. We are leaving that regime. And it seems like everybody, all these countries now are starting to close their shutters, pull in their sails, say, we don't want trade. We're going to slap tariffs everywhere. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And there are a lot of parallels. Human nature, unfortunately or fortunately, doesn't change. It just repeats itself. And it seems like we are entering a phase much like we did right around World War I, especially with China trying to rise, much like the Kaiser's Germany did that started the First World War. One of the things that's so cool about our Midnight in America book is that I actually put my playbook in there for bear markets. And this is something I am not exaggerating. This very same playbook is the playbook I've handed down to my children. They haven't really read it yet, certainly don't care, but it is going to them. This is the playbook. So if you haven't gotten a copy, I urge you to get one because we put a lot of time into that. And that is the playbook, how I made $1 gazillion when the market cracked in 2009, Great Recession. And remember, I called that one 1.5 years before it happened. When the risks get above a certain level, I start to say, the British are coming, the redcoats are coming, the redcoats are coming. So I've been saying the redcoats are coming here. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. See you tomorrow.